No.
Come sit down.
Streaming.
Kitty. That's my chicken pot pie.
Do it live.
Mom! Kitty's being a dildo.
I know a certain
who's
kitty
sleeping with
kitty.
Mommy tonight.
Yeah.
I've been licking this carpet. Never mind.
I don't care if my mom was in Shiza videos.
I almost went there.
Almost.
I almost went there.
Let's see here. Chats everywhere. Evening.
Gotta get that link. Yeah.
Good evening. I have the YouTube chat on my screen. I can be monitoring that.
All right, I got the
Hey, it's
link.
Laura Ash, the great Minnesotan. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's pretty common. Uh-huh.
We're all here. And I'm going to save it. Hold on.
Hail, hail.
I'm going to save this profile. To VMix profile, podcast 2021 most latest .vmix.
Ah.
That way I'll know next time.
You came on my pillow. What?
Okay. Drive.
There. There's still nothing live.
No, I'm working on it.
Oh, I see.
Back is doing a lot better. We'll talk about it later.
Good.
Good.
I'll have a back update.
Yeah,
I'll warn
because
you.
my pick is directly related to it, and these things saved my life.
Okay.
Cool.
Drugs?
Yes.
Pills?
Good.
Drugs and
Oxycodone.
rock and
Yeah.
roll.
No.
Oh.
Oxycontin. What's the stuff that's fentanyl?
Oh, yeah.
That's the
stuff's
thing that
really
everybody's
addictive.
dying of.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, that'd be fentanyl.
Just can't stop.
Yeah, no, I actually never got any of those drugs. This was no drugs, but dang it, it worked.
Dr. Hose.
I don't have a smash car, happily. Oh no, the other guy does. Wow, look at Biohazard's
Yeah,
burger.
that's
That's pretty sharp looking. I'm curious what the fry sauce is.
Okay. Should we do a show?
Nope, there we are.
Got it. Communist Canada. Jeremy, why
I thought
didn't
we
you
were
tell me?
socialist.
Well, yeah.
Socialist just another way of saying red.
That's just, it's friendly
Well, I
communism.
mean, look at our flag. Crying
Exactly.
out loud.
Mm.
It's
The
like
Red
right there.
Scare, it was all just to the north of us all along.
Wait, figure that out now.
Cause it's too late.
Yes.
Too late for love.
Too late for love. Yes, Def
All right.
Leppard is in the house.
Start the recording now. Okay, recorded.
Oh, good, you're recording this time.
Recording is in progress. Okay.
Excellent.
Yeah, let's get started. In 3, 2. Hey everybody, welcome back to the PC Perspective Podcast. This is episode 645, being recorded on Wednesday, September 22, 2021. I'm Sebastian Peak.
I'm Jeremy Hellstrom.
I'm Josh Walrath.
I'm Brett Van Spoonberg.
Okay, before we get off onto anything, I would like to note that
You're here under
the
protest?
placement that you have of everybody, go back to the other screen, the placement. So bottom right corner, extremely bright. The other two corners are kind of middling. And then Sebastian is the man of mystery in the dark, forbidden cave. Not well lit. I mean, you've got lighting, but
It's all behind me though. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know.
It,
I know.
yeah, it's not professional at all.
Really, but it's I kind of enjoy an interesting motif of going from light to dark, smart to smart.
Dim.
Well,
Our relative
you didn't
intelligence
say it.
is it's a visual medium. This video thing. So
Yes.
it is.
Josh has picked up on this directorial decision to cast us in a different light, I guess.
Yes.
Oh,
if
there you go
will.
with your
Yes.
witticisms.
Mm.
For
Witty,
audio listeners,
witty.
you're not going to
For audio listeners, let's just cut all of this out. You can find out when we go live at pcper.com/live. And Brett, there's this Patreon thing. We're doing a Patreon.
You know, we've been doing this Patreon thing, and we have many, many loyal patron subscribers and contributors, and super, super appreciate them because we could not stay on the air without you guys. Thank you so much. You guys are helping pay the bills. Really appreciate every little bit everybody can contribute there. But your name can be added to the hall of, is it fame? I think it's fame. It's not shame. You don't need to be ashamed. Not a lot, maybe just a little bit. Come on down. Contribute
Yeah.
to the PC per.
We could add your
Patreon
name.
podcast.
It's literally what Brett is trying to say is your name here. We'll
That is
literally
exactly.
put your name right here
right here.
the next time. You know, if you want to
We
do
should
that.
actually write people's names on the video, maybe, or
No,
something.
we could do that at the end, like thank our patrons. That would be nice.
Yeah, we could do that. We could do it.
Okay. Burger of the week. It's our most important segment. It's the first segment after the intro.
It is.
In the timestamps, Josh. Larry
Okay, so I
Wyoming.
was a little disappointed. They didn't have a burger special. And due to all the issues kind of surrounding us of supply and whatnot, they've cut down their menu quite a bit. And I was really in the mood for a buffalo style chicken sandwich because in the past they've been fantastic. And so I had to make my own, except of course, they don't have breaded chicken anymore. It's just grilled chicken.
Yeah.
And you ever put buffalo sauce on grilled chicken? It's just kind of wrong. It needs to be breaded or deep fried or something, not grilled. But I did get it. This is just a regular grilled chicken breast sandwich. Lettuce, tomatoes, pickles, onions, and then they provided me with a cup of their Angry Buffalo sauce, which is their 4-flame hot sauce. 5 is their hottest, but I mean the 4 isn't bad at all. So the fries were a little soggy today, and it was a little disappointing. I mean, you can't hit a home run every time you go to bat. I mean, it was still good. I still ate it. It was filling. I won't eat again till tomorrow. But it just wasn't there. It was disappointing because, not only was it podcast day, but it was also the fall equinox. And I thought there'd be something special today, and it was just good. Wasn't special. So, maybe I'm just living in times where I am spoiled rotten by what I am surrounded with, that my day is full of no pain yet no ecstasy, and therefore every day just bleeds into the next. And then we get on Twitter and complain about stupid things because we have nothing better to do.
This has been the Josh Poetry Hour. Please
Yeah.
tune in next week for his version of a haiku.
This is when we come on. I need some.
Get some beat going.
I don't know if they were being serious, but somebody in the YouTube chat said, "How is it possible that Josh Walrath looks younger than when PC Per started?" I said DLSS.
Well, you see, when you get fatter,
Right. There's that.
the
And they
wrinkles-
called him the walrus.
tightens everything up.
Yeah.
Some people inject botulism to their faces. Josh just
I
eats
don't
burgers
think,
every
I
week.
think, I don't
Josh
think
and
you're
Josh's
using that word
burgers
right.
into his face.
don't think
Yeah.
it's botulism. Check
Yes,
check
it
that.
is. What
Well,
do you
yeah,
think?
man,
It
no,
is.
Botox is
It
botulism.
is.
Yeah, Botox is just
You sure about
botulism.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Literally
Yeah, it
injecting
paralyzes
one of the
the-
most poisonous things going
Yeah.
into your face.
But it
to
makes you
get
look
rid of
so
injections
good.
in your face.
Sounds
And
weird.
it paralyzes parts of your face too. But
Okay.
It kills the
No.
muscles and the stuff, so it can't move.
all right.
Or tense.
Moving on from botulism, EVGA. We've been talking about this for a while. If you follow EVGA on Twitter or read any tech publication, EVGA has been teasing their return to AMD motherboards. Some people mistakenly thought this was their first AMD motherboard. They had AMD motherboards back in the Enforce era. Their last one was Socket 939. But they're back. X570, EVGA, dark. And it's $689.99. This is not just a consumer motherboard. I don't even think it's a Halo product necessarily, although they absolutely could release other X570 boards. This is it in their lineup right now.
Godlike from MSI was what, 550, 600?
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah, so it's... Boy, this is one specialized board.
Look at all these features.
And it's, the one thing that I'd be more interested in is learning more about the audio of it. Because even though they use the Crab Realtek AC 1220 or something like that, apparently it's got an ESS DAC in there
Okay.
as well. And they've got, as you can kind of see under that thing, they've got some bigger audio capacitors, and you can use that new audio drivers on it.
Oh, really?
So-
Interesting. Okay.
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
All right, that is intriguing. I thought this was just an overclocking sort of utility board. It only has two DIMM
But you'd
slots.
think based
and-
upon the DIMM slot count
it
that you'd be
is.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And the
but
17-phase VRM.
They've thrown a few more things. Like they've got two Intel 2.5 gigabit Ethernet in there.
Okay. I'm going to the product page.
But they didn't put in
We're going-
10 gig.
Going? No, 10 gig. 10 gig's kind of...
Yeah.
I mean, you can actually
You
now
have 10 gig
get
at all?
5-port 2.5 gig switches for under $200.
Yeah, is that QNAP? I think QNAP makes that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like 125 for
yeah.
a 5
I have a
port.
QNAP 10 gig switch here. It's actually pretty nice.
EVGA new audio on board.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I think that's
Well,
pretty impressive,
interesting.
but it's $689, so
It is.
but it's out of stock, so I can't buy it even if I wanted to. Though I can finance it, $58 a month for 12 months for a limited time. Pre-qualify now.
Can't
I
you
won't-
just
I won't do
contact someone at EVGA and just have them slide you one, just for testing?
You mean as a
purposes?
review unit? Then I'd have to review
Exactly.
it, though. I mean, where's the fun in
Well,
that?
You might
Uh-oh.
be able to review. Yeah.
That's not.
Where's the fun in
a lot
that?
of work. Have you ever reviewed a motherboard? And I'm
I
not even
tried.
good at it, and it's
Look,
still
look,
an extremely
It
painful.
blew my mind. I tried.
Process.
I failed. I failed.
Okay.
that.
Jeremy's disappearing into the background.
Oh no! Now he's the most intelligent one.
understand. And I think I'm black and white as well.
Yes.
Well, yes, exactly. What did communism come for your video?
Look, when you're severely bandwidth limited, it just goes into black
No.
and white mode.
Oh my
I
gosh.
think that my camera control software just barfed.
Do you need a
I'll
quick
be
reboot
back in a
there,
second.
Jeremy?
Yes. All right.
Okay. Please stand by. Technical difficulties. This is normal.
Yeah.
Look over there.
That's why you watch live, so you can see something.
And the last words from Jeremy are, Rosebud.
I thought it was Croatoan.
Jeremy Noir. All right.
Croatoan.
He's jacked. Well, I guess we're in a break now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Al, an 8-port as well, I guess, on that 2.5G switch. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there he is.
We'll just leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah. There
That was
was,
dark.
there was nothing.
I was going dark for EVGA. You figured me
was-
out.
I was
Uh-huh.
gonna say that.
All right. What is NVIDIA DLAA? I thought it was DLSS.
Why no?
Is it dumb looking AA?
It's anti-aliasing.
Oh.
You know, I do kind of miss back in the day when we could talk about, you know, anti-aliasing that you would understand. Like rotated grid 4x AA, or 4x super sampling AA, or multi-sampling AA. But now we've got so many different types of AA, it's not even funny. You can't even keep track of them. And then we got, you know, shader-based type AA, you know, TLAA and all these other things that's actually done inside the card and not on the frame buffer and output. It just kind of want to go back to the good old days where you understood this stuff instead of choosing between CSAA and
8XAA and 4XAA.
TXFX.
8XQ.
AAA.
Yeah, no, yeah, sure, it's all good.
I wonder
But sorry,
if they're
I
supposed to
sidetracked.
announce it because it's somebody from an Elder Scrolls Online team, the creative director of ESO. Said,
Great choice to choose to launch this feature on.
okay, yeah, here we go. It's we're adding a new option: deep learning anti-aliasing, using their deep learning technology, but without the upscaling component, at full resolution. Interesting.
Huh? So it's not DLSS. They're applying
No.
a deep learning AA algorithm. Interesting.
Yeah, so they have an AI trained for AA now. Interesting.
Okay, so now
Well, that actually makes sense. I mean,
Sure.
you could do some really interesting things there, and you would really probably avoid a lot of the still AA kind of causes pixel crawl and other things. If you do DLAA and you can get that looking good, you could probably avoid all that. It's almost like it could probably be a usable stochastic type AA that utilizes the matrix capabilities of the NVIDIA cards.
So are you talking
Anyway,
about
gonna
like
have-
that scanline crawl that you can see occasionally, if you like, especially on a still with a certain yeah, I've seen that. But you don't see that in a lot of panels. You do occasionally see that still, but not often. And there's certain colors that
I mean,
don't
you know,
look quite right
density
together.
helps that you have.
Absolutely.
You're running a 4K. You're going to get
Yes.
very little noticeable crawl.
right.
1080p,
Now,
yeah, you're gonna notice.
a lot of people might not realize this. Pixels are still square, or actually somewhat rectangular. depending on
they're
the
actually kind
resolution.
of rectangular, but
Yeah, exactly, rectangular. So making things look curved or round or whatever actually takes a lot of anti-aliasing to make that look decent. It's amazing how much curved stuff.
how did that
on the street.
Macintosh team do the rounded rectangles? You know,
Oh, they got a
Think about
patent
it.
for that. No
Cheated.
one else can do it anymore.
Yeah.
It's true.
But
about
it's-
10
I
years worth of
suspect-
software development.
And a hardware ecosystem that's consistent.
I'm not lying either. So
Yeah.
yeah.
It is true.
But no, I expect this is going to have some serious performance hits, though. If
Yeah.
you're actually running an AIAA,
it
there's
depends.
AIAA.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
better
This is
because,
the
you know,
DLAA.
So the
That'll
DLSS
be
stuff,
AMD's.
I mean, well, yeah, but anyway, no, for the NVIDIA, I mean, it's essentially the matrixy type hardware that's not typically being used when you're rendering graphics. So it's just better utilization of the GPU when you're doing AA. So I guess I should probably download ESO again and fire up a character and check it out. Yeah.
Join the millions who do this every day. Possibly.
you sure it's millions.
It's hundreds of thousands, if not tens of thousands of people. Speaking of Thunderbolt and Apple, because we mentioned them earlier, the Macintosh team. This is slightly newer. This is Thunderbolt Drive from OWC. MacSales.com, by the way. Not OWC.com. It's MacSales.com. Tweaktown did a little review of this, and they think it might be one of the best, if not the best, Thunderbolt SSDs you can buy. You know,
Those are fighting
occasionally-
words.
Yeah, occasionally OWC has some of the leading edge stuff, at least at the outset. But we shall see. As we scroll through Tweaktown's review here, as you can see, it's just a it holds an NVMe drive. This one
Which you
has a
can
Phison
replace, which is
controller.
really nice.
Look how
Phison.
big this is. This is a huge
it's
enclosure
board.
for an NVMe
Yeah.
drive.
It's aluminum, right?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
You could use that as a personal defense weapon.
Yeah.
Throw that at somebody's head.
Is there more than
And your
one
data would be
feel it.
fine afterwards.
in here?
Yeah.
No, these are just
Well, I think,
standard speeds. What is the big deal with this thing?
You're getting standard speeds from external Thunderbolt.
Because it's Thunderbolt, man.
Uh,
It's Thunderbolt.
It's Thunderbolts.
okay. I guess.
We might very well get
See,
a
they're all
chance to
portable
try this
SSDs and stuff.
because OWC, I think, is going to send us one to test. So we're going to be able
really?
to take a look at this ourselves.
Ooh.
And it's got an Aura P12 SSD, which doesn't necessarily come up high on the rankings either.
No, I
So
would
if you
want
were
to throw a
swap
different
that out with
SSD in
something
there. Yeah.
serious.
I thought that would be interesting to kind of swap a couple of different NVMe drives in there
Yeah.
to see what's what.
So $250, 480 gigabytes, about the performance of a Gen 3 internal SSD. But it's external. So like almost 3,000 megabytes per second reads and about 1,500 writes. Okay. I want
Sorry
more.
for the clickety clackety. You know, I've got a membrane keyboard, and why does it clack like a mechanical? I don't understand.
All the poppy seeds that are in it?
No, this one's actually pretty clean.
And
It's a
by the way,
Microsoft Ergonomic 4000. Anyway,
our recent, we haven't gotten a chance to test a lot of OWC stuff, but they reached out to Josh because I guess you're very talkative on Twitter. So thanks for that.
oh, nice.
Yeah, thank you.
Yay.
Surprise!
I was just going to plug this, which is not a sponsor or anything, but I did a review of this Cherry keyboard. I've been using this for my streaming setup down here ever since. I don't remember what it's called. Cherry Stream. It's the Stream desktop.
Oh, well, that makes
Very
sense.
quiet. But
Smart.
it's not.
No, there-
It's not it's membrane, but it's a scissor mechanism. It's like a laptop keyboard, like an old school laptop keyboard.
Somebody
had
was
to-
talking
Dull
about
ones nowadays.
a week or so ago about somebody's clickety clackety keyboard on this show.
It's Jeremy.
now we know whose.
And it's. I think there's. I don't know how it used to be set up. I want to say maybe Jim was more clever than I am, because when I go to Josh,
Hello, Josh.
everyone's
Yeah.
still at full volume, but I think it might have been set up before that if you singled somebody out, everybody else was automatically silenced.
I remember him screaming, yelling about how hard it was to
Silence.
figure that out.
Yes.
But I think he did.
Yeah. Yeah. he
And I
did,
mostly mute
think.
myself anyways.
But I wish there
And I
was a
watched my
way.
keyboard last week.
Because I think what he must have ended up doing was you can create additional like program spaces, and they can have different. Maybe they can have different audio levels. I don't know. Regardless, let's seamlessly move to our next news story, and we had to say goodbye to a very important figure in the history of computing, the history of microcomputing.
Very
Clive
small.
Sinclair.
Now you know why the Sinclair computer was called the Sinclair computer. Because this guy, Sir Sinclair,
Wait, he's riding a
redhead,
bike here
balding, active,
in a suit,
sharply dressed.
wearing a slim tie like a younger man.
And at speed.
Remember the ZX Spectrum?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look at this. The Sinclair.
Did you ever have one of his in-ear FM radios, though?
I don't know.
Which I didn't actually realize he'd made.
Do you remember the era of typing in basic programs out of a book or a magazine or something like that?
Oh,
No,
God,
we're
yeah.
not. We're not that old.
Yes,
Oh,
because I had the Trash 80 that I did that
Yep.
with.
Yes. And this was one of the computers that taught so many people how to program. I actually had a VIC-20 at the time, so we used to have, computers face-offs between platforms and stuff have been going on forever. So there was always the platform war between your Commodore computers and your Atari computers and your IBMs and your Sinclairs at the time.
Did you get your VIC-20?
The Sinclair Z80? Is that what the big one was?
Might have been. I thought it was a ZX100, but
I thought it was a Z80.
No, by then it was already going
used a
to
Zilog.
Yeah.
But there were several
CPU.
manufacturers of that one at the time. There was the Timex Sinclair, which was a almost work-alike one. Had some differences to it, but it was very similar. Oh, the ZX80.
Radio silence.
1980. Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
I mean, that was a foundational personal computer that you could buy, and it wasn't hugely expensive. But you needed to have that manual. You needed to have that book of 1,000 programs.
I know.
Yeah,
And
it was.
type
It was
well.
Yeah, to
yeah,
find the
and then they have
typo
the
that you
the
missed.
strange
One
rubber keys.
typo.
Remember, pokes and peeks into memory locations and stuff like that from basic programs. That's where I learned to write my first machine language stuff. Oh yeah, somebody just wrote peeks and pokes. Yep, good stuff. Remapping the keyboard so that you can do bitmaps with the letters on the screen used to be bitmap graphics, so you could change them into other graphics and put letters next to each other to design games and stuff like that. Crazy. Absolute stone knives and bearskins.
Yes.
But flexible. You
It
just
was.
had to know how to do it. It's like Vim. I mean, people who know Vim love it because it's just lots of shortcut keys, and it was all designed so you could have this editor in a low memory space. I mean, really low, sub 16K, and you could do really complex things. But it was all, yeah. I mean, if you ever want to, I mean, if you're not familiar with Vim, read up on the history of it. And I mean, this is again an area where it was helped develop on, I believe, and so yeah.
And if you use Mo,
Get to
you're a
know,
heretic.
get to understand some of the history. What was that?
And if you use Mo, well, you're a heretic.
Nano, man, nano.
All right.
Anyway,
All right, Sebastian, move us along because we're going to try and keep this show running tight tonight.
Okay, moving back to present day, a recent development, something uncovered by Matthew Smith over at Tech Power Up, who runs their graphics card database. He's discovered, according to a report here at, what is this, at Tom's Hardware? Yes. He's discovered that recycled dies are being used in RTX 3060s, but the article says that it's faulty RTX 3070 Ti dies. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the 3070 Ti is not a product that actually exists.
no, it is, but it's expensive and it's stupid.
3070 Ti? Have I just completely lost my mind? I guess it does exist.
You have lost your mind because we have the release of the 3070 Ti and the 3080 Ti.
Yeah, I guess I reviewed
Which
it.
are,
In fact, it's actually right. It's right here. I'm a fool.
It
doesn't
exist.
He's lost his mind.
You're lying eyes.
I'm going to cut all that
You're
out
lying
so I don't
eyes,
look like an
Sebastian.
idiot on the
No one-
finished version
no
of
one
the
will ever know.
podcast. How have I forgotten this? I guess it was just not very exciting.
It wasn't.
No, it was.
barely
I
remember
mean,
reviewing
the amount of extra money you had to pay for a 3070 Ti, and I mean versus a 3080, it's just stupid. It's just stupid. It's. I mean, the 3080 Ti you can kind of understand because you get the extra memory, right? 12 gigs versus 10,
That makes sense.
a little faster. Yeah, that makes sense. 3070 Ti. I don't know. But it's old news. I mean, they've been doing derated chips to lower things forever. But back in the day with the ATI 9700 Pro. Derated the chips to make the 9500. And that's when you could solder some resistors and flash a BIOS, and suddenly you've got a 9700 with all 8 pixel shaders and 2 vertex shaders. And yeah, I mean, derating chips and putting it into a lower level product is, I mean, it's common. It makes sense, because why waste a chip that won't go into where you think it should go when you have another product down below that you can make it fit, and you won't waste that chip, especially when a 3060, you're lucky to pick one up at $399 MSRP. I mean, extremely lucky. Usually they're in 530s, and you have to go through the Newegg shuffle or be really lucky. And if you're really lucky, why are you just playing with computers?
You should be gambling.
Yeah.
No, we don't actually advocate gambling.
Yeah.
But if it's legal in your state, feel free if you're an adult. I had to do some quick searching to find our own review of a product called the RTX 3070 Ti, which did exist.
wrote it?
It's an actual product. I think I even remember taking this photo, actually. And the predecessors are in the shadows. That was sort of the idea here. But that's
I guess we'll wait to see.
GA104.
We'll wait to see what this new 3060 with this larger silicon, what its superpower might be. The previous one they did this to had one minor superpower, I guess. It was faster in Blender than it should have been.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
The last time they did something like this, that was the EVGA KO. It was the 2060 knockout.
Right. Yep. As they're mentioning here in this Tom's article.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
So, okay. We'll have to see if we can find one of these GA104 RTX 3060s out there, as opposed to a 106, which is what it apparently is.
I'm pretty sure you can't swap out some resistors and make it into a 3070 Ti.
It's not going to flash and go
Just
like a flash.
not gonna work.
No.
No. It's missing some. Well, yeah, no, don't do it.
You think it's fused off? It's not just software?
Yeah, I mean, there's the actual physical fusing off, and plus you're gonna have some memory issues just because of 12 gigs of. I mean, you're gonna flash some BIOS with 8 gig support into a 12 gig card. Yeah,
Just
it's
download more
gonna be-
RAM.
Exactly. You wouldn't download a car, would you? Well, yeah, if I could.
Yeah. What kind of a question is that?
Nope.
Yes. Would I steal something if I knew I could get away with it?
Maybe.
Isn't that what pirating is all about?
That's why
Yeah.
he's in the dark square.
Yeah.
All right. Let's pause here. So, hear from our first podcast sponsor this week.
LinkedIn Talent Solutions. Thank you very much for sponsoring the show.
Okay, it's no longer a rumor. Jeremy reported on rumors of this. Microsoft had an event. It's official now. You can just plunk down your money now if you can. I don't know if it's up for pre-order yet, but you can get your Surface
You can
Pro
pre-order.
8. It's a laptop.
8.
It's a tablet. It's a pen input device. It's everything. For the professional. Like, you can play around with iPads, which are basically toys for children. Or you can get a Surface Pro. There's Pro right in the title. I mean, maybe there's an iPad Pro too, but anyway. It looks more iPad-like than ever to me, looking at this. But it has that kickstand. Yeah. What are some of the tech specs? Anybody watch this presentation?
I read the Cole's
Okay.
notes.
It's 2,880 by 1920 resolution, 13-inch Pixel Sense Flow display. Oh, it has up to 120 hertz refresh rate.
But you've got to enable it. The default 60 for some insane reason.
Some insane reason like battery life.
So that's for losers.
Because they want to say under battery life up to 16 hours. You know, at 60 hertz. 40% screen brightness, whatever. Oh, look, it's got a TPM 2.0 chip. I would laugh. I would fall out of my chair if they didn't have this. Because, I mean, it's obviously Windows 11 ready.
Well, guess what date these will actually start shipping on?
Today?
No, you can pre-order today. They'll ship on October the 5th for some reason.
Oh, that's when Windows
Wait.
11 launches.
Yeah.
So, what else is going on October 5th?
Hmm.
Wow, that's strange.
Cinco de...
Window.
Window, yes.
10? Diez.
Wait, this thing is only
Cinco de
1.96 pounds. That's quite light. And look, it comes with a power supply.
Octubre.
I'm glad. It's trendy not to include power supplies and things anymore.
It is. It's brave, actually. I think I would call it
Nintendo
brave.
pioneered it, and then Apple copied them. Do you remember when the new 3DS XL did not ship with a power adapter? This is a few years ago.
No.
Okay. That was the first high-profile electronic that did not have any way to plug the damn thing in that I can remember selling.
Lovely.
Wow. That's Nintendo.
Okay, well...
And ostensibly, it is designed to reduce e-waste. Someone pointed that out. It's actually true. That was the sort of the reason. But you know what? The price didn't go down.
No, it didn't.
So weird.
But
Weird.
their accessories sales went up. And those have higher margins.
People
than
want to plug
console
stuff in.
That's right.
So let's imagine the boardroom discussion. I've got a great idea. This is killer. Let's not include any of the accessories anymore. Call it Stunning and Brave, and then sell them to them in the accessories store.
Yeah, we'll do
But
10...
not lower the price.
Look, we're going to
So-
sell it for the same price, but then
In
talk
fact,
about
raise the
how
price.
virtuous we
Let's
are.
not raise
the
the
price.
margins.
Because we're not
Yeah.
polluting the beautiful environment. But at the same time, we're selling stuff with a 10x markup that you need to use our device.
Right. And I think
Because
Josh
like
points
Nintendo
out
did it. Nintendo has a proprietary connector. You can only use a Nintendo connector to plug your 3DS in. It's not like these modern devices that use USB-C. Speaking
How
of
much
modern
longer
devices,
before we go back to the old days of batteries not included?
yeah, exactly. But
Remember
it's-
that?
well,
There's problems with shipping batteries. You've got to
Yeah.
specially label it, and there's like container and like quantity limits. And
there's a couple of devices out there. I can't remember what they're called. Don't have replaceable batteries anymore either.
Yeah, that's
So you can't even
that
get at
was- Yeah, wonderful.
we're talking about every major smartphone.
Pretty much, yeah. I guess, yeah. That would be the phones.
LG was still doing replaceable batteries late in the game, and look what happened to them.
Yeah.
They don't even have a line of phones anymore.
They went down.
Nope.
That's
They weren't. I
unfortunate.
guess
So
Gold
leave
Star
it
wasn't
up.
so
them.
lucky after all.
Oh, wow.
All right.
You went there?
Speaking of modern things, Raspberry Pi is popular. Radeon graphics cards are popular if you can find one. What if we combine them with
What do you
a
mean?
Thermaltake power supply on a desk and then take a picture of it? Well, Hackaday did all of those things.
And more.
Is that,
It's
that's not
hooked up to a
Thermaltake power
Raspberry
supply,
Pi
is it?
compute unit.
What is a Raspberry Pi compute unit, Jeremy?
Well, it's a little add-on that you get for your Pi, which among other things has a PCIe slot on it and one lane,
By
and it's
four?
designed to.
Oh,
by four,
one,
right?
Sorry.
Ooh,
It is by one.
No, it's by one.
is it? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah, 'cause
4
they
lanes,
talked
so
about
it's
how
by
they-
one.
they talked about how they had to get a switch to make from the 16 by into a 1 by, and get the 4 lanes talking. So this wonderful, brilliant lunatic, that's name is, where did he go?
Matthew Carlson?
Matthew Carlson, Jeff Geerling, is the guy who did it.
Oh, okay.
And so he managed to get Pi running with sort of a custom Linux kernel. He
Wait, I
grabbed
want to know how
the-
he got a hold of the 6700 XT.
Yeah.
he. That
It was
was
probably
part of
a
his story
review
about
unit.
how he was incredibly lucky and managed
This
to
is all
find-
fake. This is crap, man. There's no way he could have got a hold of that video card.
And besides
It's
that,
garbage.
Just renders.
how on earth could you expect to find a device that would take a 16-lane PCI Express connector and take it down to a by one? Why would anybody need such a thing?
Because they can. Oh hell!
I don't know.
There's different
Those are
ground
mining
That's
connectors.
sarcasm, by the
adapters.
way.
Mining adapters. Case
I know.
The
Probably
punchline
was
is
deep sarcasm. So let's see.
But
How
like
much
you
did
even
it
had to figure out
cost?
the different ground
Well,
planes.
you don't want to
off
know
of
how
the
much
same
it
PSU.
costs because the price of the GPU is probably like $1,500.
Yeah.
Okay, unboxing everything.
Well, maybe 1,000, but still.
Yeah.
And as Jeremy was
Stupid
just
amount.
saying, there are some electrical problems in doing this when they're all freestanding and not on the same ground plane. So, noise, significant problem.
So
Compiling
you
the
did manage
kernel.
to get them talking. It's not working great yet. For some reason, he's running into issues where the Pi is running out of active memory for some reason. Can't imagine why.
He needed to download more RAM, just didn't do it yet.
Or just tell the card to slow down. And
I mean, go and talk to Keanu. Download some more RAM.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, so I mean, it may well eventually work, and he could, in theory, assign this little Pi compute-heavy tasks and actually have it do it in a reasonable amount of time. But I mean, overall, the two greatest weaknesses are the difficulty of putting it together and finding yourself a GPU.
But other than
I
that,
just thought that was
Yeah,
some
but-
good news. Yeah.
I noticed that Kyle, on former Hard OCP, Kyle Bennett, if you don't know, was on Twitter, I think today, talking about availability of the Radeon
6900
XT. Yeah, which
Mm.
is actually pretty good. And I was thinking, there's no way. And he said, you can get the 6900 XT without a bundle, shipped directly from Newegg, anytime. And I went and looked, and sure enough, they start at about $1649. That's for a Sapphire. 6900 XT. If you're willing to spend $1,650, which sounds
You can get one.
crazy, but this is the current market. You're paying double, essentially. Well, not quite.
Well,
double.
it's a $999 product.
Yeah.
The 6900 XT.
Is
So
that
you're
65%?
paying $700.
Yeah, but you can do it.
Whoop.
You can.
Nah,
You can't buy a
don't.
3090. He says, which is pretty much true. You have to buy a system to get a 3090 right now. But if you're willing to spend as much as a system, $1,650 will get you a graphics card, a really fast graphics card. And I mention this as a great way to segue to our next story, which is quickly a couple driver updates. I feel like we just talked about this, but there's another AMD driver. This one doesn't bring new exciting features like the last one did, like the one-touch overclocking that voids your warranty. This one adds support for Star Wars Squadrons. There's some new Vulkan support, a bunch of issues that have been fixed, some known issues that are still there. But we're all the way up to 20.9.2 now. 20.9.1 added Windows 11 support and added AMD SAM to the 5000 series graphics cards. This is a more minor update. I mention this in fairness because the bigger driver story was NVIDIA's new driver, which is adding DLSS to, I think, 28 more games. So now they have an even 100, or no, I'm sorry, over 100 games and apps now supported. Alan Wake Remastered is getting DLSS support. Oh, I feel like a lot of games get DLSS now, even if they're not necessarily going to feature a lot of ray tracing. So there seems to be
well,
The only
Alan Wake has
remastered
a
stuff
thing
I've
with
been-
light, so that's actually sort of interesting that they would do that with Alan Wake.
Yeah, Alan Wake is unique.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But so many remastered games, so little time. See, which is nice because I have so many games in my backlog that when they get remastered, then I have another chance to buy them and then wait another 10
Oh.
years before I try to play them again.
It's nice, eh?
It's a good plan.
It is. That these guys,
good
they're
plan.
geniuses. Geniuses.
It's like when
But before we
go ahead.
move on,
yes.
there's one other thing. Last week I didn't talk about it, but ARM released a whole series of products to support their automotive interests in self-driving type stuff, and it's a comprehensive bunch of software and development tools and how to get the hardware out there. And I just wanted to quickly mention this because it's, I mean, they're pushing this and they have some partners lined up and, you know, development work is being done and they're addressing this area, which is very important. I mean, all major car dealerships are not dealerships, but, you know, car manufacturers and parts manufacturers like Bosch. Bosch is getting into self-driving stuff and trying to get the hardware going. And so ARM is applying a lot of their expertise to getting all the software capabilities and all of that going, and as well as, you know, getting into the hardware and making it a one large kind of package that people can develop from and, you know, productize it. Now, the sad thing is it really is about 7 years from starting development to where you actually ship a product. But they've got the framework there, and they're making this available, and it's taking a lot of the really footwork, base work out of the equation for manufacturers who want to, you know, get the self-driving stuff going and automotive. And so they have a good basis to begin on and be able to work from there. And so this is another positive thing. So making safer, more interesting cars. You're going on a long drive, put on autopilot. I don't know if you want to take a nap, but we're not at that point yet. People have taken a nap and have run into things like barriers and the backs of emergency vehicles and trees. And yeah,
Look, emergency vehicles are
You don't wanna
very
do those
confusing to the AIs. Why we don't know, but they are.
The amount
flashing
of
lights.
automation that's in even just standard cars now is kind of staggering. I had a rental car for about a week because mine was trapped under a tree, and then it was at the shop. And it was just a Toyota Corolla. They didn't have much on the lot at Enterprise. And even this little thing had like the ability to read road signs. So then it would display the road sign it had just read and put it up on the dash for you. So you'd always know what, like if you hadn't noticed that the speed limit changed, it would pop up on the screen because it had just driven past the speed limit sign. That's kind of interesting.
I
there's
just
another
read
car
about-
that
I mean,
reads like yield and stop signs and stuff.
have you noticed that the luxury features of a car from 10 years ago are now just standard now? I mean, even though you are paying more for cars, those features have been pushed down and down and down. When's the last time you saw a roll down window?
So long
on
ago,
a
you
new
don't even
car.
remember what the handle is called.
Yeah, I don't even know if my wife has seen one of those in her lifetime. Like it's just
Yeah.
everybody just expects
Probably.
power
It's
windows
crazy.
and door locks.
Industrial trucks maybe still? I don't know.
Well, no, I was in a Ford F-350 that was brand new not too long ago because a buddy of mine was Ubering, and it looked like a Cadillac from about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
interior
it's
was just insane.
I'll
So
take
that's
it.
actually the reason why so new cars are in short supply. It's obviously just another offshoot of the chip shortage,
Yep.
unfortunately.
All the creature comforts. Yeah.
yeah, all
You got to have
stuff.
lots
and
of chips and computers.
I read about cars that are not only reading and displaying these signs, but actually altering the speed at which you're driving to go, oh, you're going too fast. Let me help you with that. Let me back
And there's
you
things
down
like
to
the
speed limit."
radar assisted cruise control.
No, thank you.
You can
Yes.
set the distance between you and the next car, and then it will actually start to slow
Brake.
you down if they're
Brake
braking ahead
before
of
you get yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. I don't like
Yeah.
all this stuff. Just turn it
No.
all off.
Yeah, turn it off.
Let me live.
You know
No,
what? I've still got a manual transmission in my car.
Rare. Costs
Well, you have a
extra
sports
nowadays.
And
car,
there's
though,
there's no lane avoidance, nothing. It's you got to pay attention. And all these new kids with their newfangled, they don't pay attention anymore. You got to focus, laser.
Crashing
No,
into
they don't have to.
ambulances.
Because all these kids are going to grow up and drive
Houses.
Teslas. And the Teslas are going to drive them. I think at that point,
Yep.
just take public transportation. If the bus ran,
No, they run into buses
Not
too.
car.
if the bus ran every 10 minutes, I don't think I'd have a car. The buses around here, they don't go where I need to go half the time. Waiting on a bus exchange from one to the other takes forever, and they only run once or twice an hour, depending on where you are. It's inconvenient. So we drive all these cars around. The Midwest is, I feel like there's 2 cars to every person. Every yard, every driveway has like 5 cars in it.
And who would have thought that a simple ARM announcement would lead to a discussion like this? It's
Exactly.
Yep. You never know.
crazy. Yeah. And before we get into the last thing, I need to do an update on last week's pick. The 30-inch MSI $289 monitor. Well, it's sitting back there. And it's beautiful. I don't understand why it costs as little as it does for what it does. It's an IPS. It's a fast IPS. It does 200 hertz. It's just fun to take your mouse and do circles in the middle of the desktop at 200 hertz when you're used to 60 hertz at work. And it's just so smooth. It's mesmerizing. And you're hypnotized by the smoothness of the mouse cursor going in circles. I mean, it's like you're a whole different world. We're getting that much closer to the Matrix, man, when you don't have any kind of latency or stuttering when you're moving your hand and mouse. Anyway, yeah, it's well worth the sub $300 price, even though it is 2560 by 1080. Newegg is wrong; it's not 1920, and because of the size, you don't notice the pixel density. It's not that bad. It's not like getting a 27-inch 1080, a 1920 by 1080, where you could kind of see how blocky it was. The way that this is all spread out with 2560 by 1080, it's really comfortable to view, and it's nice, and 200 hertz on IPS, and it looks good. And when you change it from 60 hertz to 200 hertz, you don't lose any real image quality. I mean, a little bit probably, but not much. And it's yeah. Look it up if you want a new monitor, or give somebody you love, or even somebody you hate, a new monitor. Less than $300 for that it was a deal. It really was.
Or buy it and then give someone you hate your old 60 hertz monitor, because you just can't go back to that lifestyle anymore. Let's pause here to hear from our second podcast sponsor this week.
That would be Simply Safe. Thank you very much for keeping us safe.
Quickly, I will mention a review that's up on the site. It is for the Thermaltake 8H T200 micro chassis, which looks like a helicopter cockpit, kind of.
Hey, it's
Some
Blue
people
Thunder.
can't see it. It is a lot like Blue Thunder, yes.
Yeah. All it needs is a big Gatling gun at the middle and the bottom, which of course would be, they'd say that's toxic masculinity because it's phallic, but no, that's Blue Thunder, man.
That was Blue Thunder, though, was toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Sebastian, I was disappointed to read that the intakes on the side actually weren't.
No, yeah, I mean, this is a really unusual looking case, so if you haven't, check it out on Thermaltake's site or on our site with this review. It's an open frame concept, but then it has a lot of window dressing. So there's a lot of extra panels and unusual angles, and I said it features sharp angles, unusual cutouts, panels affixed via large thumb screws, and hinged glass doors on both sides. But it's very unusual. And then it has these big scoops on it, and I was thinking, oh, that's clever for the air intake. So I popped one of them off, and there's just metal behind
nothing
it.
there.
And they're just solid. Oh, that stinks. But there's a bunch of air gaps all around the front. So obviously,
So
something.
let me ask you this:
Yeah.
when you were writing this up, did you think Tom Jones?
I don't know. I know who Tom Jones is, but I'm not familiar with whatever you're talking about.
It's not unusual
Oh, okay.
to be a love model. Anyway,
No, this is actually
keep saying it's unusual.
MATX. It's an MATX
then
case,
it's
right?
not-
It'll take.
it's not.
Okay. Yeah. The
not
A.
ITX.
What is it? The AHT 600 is a full tower. This is the smaller version of it. So it's technically a micro ATX case. I don't have any recent micro ATX motherboards, so I just did a mini ITX for this build. Should probably correct that, but so few micro ITX boards come out anymore. We haven't been sent any in a while. And as you can see, if you look at the back, inside the component chamber is pretty standard. There is sufficient room to build the system by just swinging the glass door out of the way. And then you can do the same thing with the back. There's 2.5-inch drive bays back there. Not a whole lot else. And unfortunately, I guess it depends on the power supply you use. I didn't have quite enough length on like the CPU power cable to go completely behind the motherboard tray. Yes. If you look at my build here, this is the messiest looking build I've done in recent memory. And I actually tried, but it's just this is more of it's odd because the whole thing is about aesthetics on the outside, but then on the inside it's all functional. So there's not really a clever way to... You could do custom cabling and cable extensions and things, but here's my case floor. It's just kind of a mess in here. And I used a couple of Thermaltake fans they sent along with this. And they were their Ring Quad 12 RGB, which comes with a lighting controller, and that just adds more stuff. So then I put the lighting controller on the case floor, all these extra cables, and... Anyway, thermals. Obviously, the front of the case is a little bit restrictive because it's got windows around one of the intake fans. So open bench with the components that I use, which is a weird little mix of a Ryzen 5 3600X, which I had on my B450 mini ITX board. I threw a RTX 3080 Ti into the mix, and then I measured some temps. And load for the CPU went up from 36.8 over ambient to 43.1, going from open bench to the case. So not crazy, 5.5 degrees. The GPU went up from 51.6 to just 52.6. Not much. But then, oddly enough, the one thing that I could not really understand, when I put the two 120mm intake fans on the front, the GPU temps went down. They went down to actually slightly better than open bench because you had more airflow. But then the CPU temps went up by almost 3.5 degrees. I rechecked all the numbers.
GPU heat's got to go somewhere.
Oh yeah, this is one of those Founders Edition cards, and it pushes a lot of hot air straight up over the memory. Well, then the way the airflow was working, it was pushing that hot air directly over the little CPU cooler. So that wasn't ideal, but it wasn't terrible. Ultimately, I think you're buying this because of the way it looks. So you have to like it. It catches your eye on Newegg. You're like, whoa, what is this? It looks like a helicopter without the tail and.
I kind of like the white one better.
The white one does look cool, actually.
Yeah.
They come in, I think, 3 colors. But
someone just asked.
You need a little leg
It's
on
almost
the
also
window.
like a Gundam cockpit.
A little bit.
Put a little figure in the front there.
Exactly.
I think people, yeah, it's very much on the mod friendly side. What were you saying, Brett?
Someone just asked what a 3600K was. Your chart had a 3600K in it accidentally.
Okay. It needs to be an X.
Whoops.
Dang it! I gotta redo that chart again. All right. Yes, Anyway, it's an open test bench with an exotic frame around it. So if that's your
They should
thing,
have provided a little wiring management indoors. That would have been nice.
yeah. I mean,
Some
this
channels
is
for
it.
that.
You're looking at the back panel right here. There's not a whole lot of area to put cables. They do come with a couple of Velcro straps. So you're supposed to just put things along this line here, but that's still visible from the front because it's full of cutouts. So I couldn't really come up with a way. I could have been more clever. I could have taken the drive bays out and trussed everything up behind that panel. I wasn't being that careful. I just threw a build together and tried to do some basic organization, and I failed. Oh, the one complaint I really had about the case, actually, to get to the front the front intake fans, you have to take the helicopter cockpit windows off, which is 3 screws on each side, and then it snaps into place. And then there's 2 thumb screws at the top, and then the bracket doesn't just lift straight out the top. You have to angle it and pull it out from the inside, so you can't have your system fully built, or at least you have to take the GPU out and kind of shimmy it out of there. And then you can mount the fans to the bracket, and then you have to put the whole bracket back in kind of at an angle and shift it into place, and then put the thumb screws back, and then put the cockpit window section back in. So, not ideal.
So you're fully invested when you're doing that.
Yeah. And then when you have it installed, this top fan is going to be covered by windows. So kind of
Yeah.
struggle to understand why you'd want to put front fans at all, except for maybe the look, because it gives you that nice RGB look if you're using lighted fans. But
Yeah, those fans actually, they look pretty good in there. What was the build quality like on this? I mean,
very good.
okay.
I wasn't finding any issues with the structure. There weren't any sharp edges. It felt very sturdy. I really like the doors. You can see here, like the doors are hinged, so you open the doors with one thumb screw, and then you just swing it out of your way, and it was nice thick glass. It has an interesting shape. Very impressed with the build quality. It's almost Lian Li like, or not Lian Li. Who am I thinking of? Inwin. It was almost Inwin like. Not quite as like they would use thicker panels and it'll all be aluminum, but you know what I'm saying. Because I remember the D-Frame Mini, which is this cage with a Mini ITX open frame system inside. So this is kind of similar to that, except obviously with a lot more metal and panels. And speaking of metal panels, that's the top fan mounts require the removal of the roof of the case, which comes off with thumb screws, like everything else. And then you have
Does the roof ever catch on fire?
Uh-huh.
But if you use deionized
Sigh.
water, it shouldn't really impact anything.
Yes.
I
Oh,
can't
wait.
believe you didn't use my subtext anywhere in your write-up.
Which is what?
Get to the chopper.
Oh, yes.
Mhm.
Oh, you know what?
It wasn't
important-
any place funny.
I forgot about it. I keep on zooming out. Okay, where do I have a picture of the top? Obviously, a picture will not satisfy this comment. Do I not? I forgot to put my picture of the top I/O. Where the heck is it? I'll add it right here. The power button on the top of this case it has the most satisfying click. This big button over here. It feels so good to click it. It has a great sound. It's kind of a clunky, clicky. It feels like an Alps switch, kind of. It's great. I haven't clicked a better power button in the modern case era, and I'm serious about this. So if you're really into the feel of the case power button, I cannot recommend this case enough. And $169 for that kind of experience. Think about it. Like, you know those old red toggle switches on the sides of IBM PS2s and their
Yes.
clones?
Yeah.
Those are really satisfying. This isn't up to that level, but
Snap. Yeah.
damn, it feels good.
Mm.
So that was the AHT200. Again, helicopter-inspired design, or not design, as a commenter was arguing this morning.
Yes.
Doesn't even qualify as a design.
That's
And I
the, use
said-
the word design wrong, Sebastian.
I said, come on. Arguing about the definition of the word design. It was designed or it could not be manufactured. So then he had to, he's like, clearly it was designed, but what I'm saying
It's
is
not
it lacks
industrial
design.
design.
As in industrial design. But the definition of industrial design is to design something so that it can be manufactured. It's designed for manufacturing.
In an industrial setting.
Right. So I feel like this commenter just
Maybe
missing
he's
the
confusing
point.
aesthetics with design.
Yes, I think
I don't think
aesthetics
he
was the
liked
right
it
word.
very much aesthetically.
Okay.
I think he loved it aesthetically, but questioned how it could be built. Maybe that was his point. Wow, this thing blows my mind. How could they ever make this? All right, let's move on to picks of the week. And Josh, get us started.
Okay, so anyway, yeah,
Speaking of
as mentioning magic. These are almost magic. So yeah, I was for like an 11-hour span, I was essentially immobile, and my wife was considering calling the ambulance, but of course, me being the tightwad that I am, and quite famously with my children, they call me the tightwad. Anyway, I said no. This is just spasms combined with low potassium in my system, and so I'm Charlie horsing on my entire left side and causing me to actually go into this strange thing and screaming in pain. Salon pads. They're these pads that you put them on your back, sore muscles, anything, and you can keep them on there for 8 hours. And it just makes the world feel a whole lot better, especially if you're in a lot of pain. And so I got some of these, and they work. And sure, you smell like menthol and other things, and people think you probably slather on Bengay as cologne, but you don't care because it feels so much better, and they're inexpensive, and you wear them for 8 hours, and your life is a lot nicer if you struggle with pain, especially muscular skeletal pain. If you have children and whatnot, this won't take the pain away. But yeah, for only a few dollars, it provided a tremendous amount of relief. And yeah, I'm walking again, which is nice. And I can bend over and tie my shoes, which is really nice. And I can start lifting things again. So yeah, getting old sucks, but you don't have to take it. That's my hardware, and it's
Start
kind of
using camphor
software
oil as a
pick.
yeah.
Wait a minute, Josh, your hardware is getting soft?
No, his software
Exactly.
got hurt.
Whatever.
No.
I don't think anybody
I don't
got
wanna
hard
go there.
listening to Salon Paw's story, but maybe that's your thing.
No, and plus, boy, that would probably sting.
Yeah, don't
You
put any
applied it there.
muscle rubs anywhere near that area. You don't want to do it.
Yeah, no.
Unless you're into that sort of thing, then well,
What? Excruciating pain? No.
Not recommended.
Who's next?
No.
Jeremy?
iFixit just recently handed out a perfect 10 to a laptop.
What?
The Framework laptop, which you might remember from almost a year back when they first sort of announced it. It's a 13-inch laptop frame that you could either order built or you could literally order it piece by piece by piece by piece. The idea being that everything is completely and utterly removable and repairable. And of course, upgradable. So you don't have to worry about a bloody soldered CPU. You don't. The bezel one is apparently magnetic, so you can just peel it off as opposed to unscrewing the whole thing. And instead of looking like an old Toshiba satellite, he says it's fairly similar to an Acer one that he'd been using recently. Like, look at it; it's not stupidly chunky, but there it is. There's everything. And it's been designed specifically so that you can get at it and easily fix it or replace it. The one he picked up had an Intel Wi-Fi card, 16 gigs of RAM, 250 gig WDM VME, and of course it comes with a 32 gig thumb drive for installing Windows, which is kind of nice. Then there's the modules. You want USB-C, HDMI, and DPI? Or so DP, you just snap them in. Done. You don't want that one anymore, you snap it out, you put in a different module, install the driver for it, and away you go. They're not even stupidly expensive. They're relatively decently priced compared to the competitors. But, I mean, there's one sort of the keyboard is a little bit difficult to tear apart and replace. What I mean, keyboards kind of are. And there are 4 USB ports soldered directly onto the motherboard, which they kind of didn't love because it sort of got rid of the whole idea of it. But at the same time, I mean, they're going to be used anyways, so there's no point. And the power one is probably a good idea to, have a good solid solder on it as opposed to a snap-in. Yeah, it's just really an interesting idea, and you can pick it up with whatever you want. They're hoping for a second edition sometime, which is going to have a GPU in it. Of course, this one right now is depending on an APU, and as you can see, there's no CPU or GPU in there, but they may well develop that, which makes things even more interesting. In the meantime, just get a good enclosure and stick in an external GPU. Yeah, I think this thing's kind of neat.
Looks
Have
nice.
you ever given anything a 10 out of 10?
I don't think so, but I don't know for sure.
They're just fed up with Apple. They're like, look, we're going to give anything that's better than Apple, 10.
Oh, terrible.
They give
repair.
Apple like a 1 or sometimes 2
Yeah.
out of 10.
Yeah.
They don't like
Although they're
anything with
taking
Salud.
shots at Apple in this,
Yeah.
in their review, as always.
What I've heard about this, and I've not used one myself, so I have to go hands-on, but aren't they just a little bit frail? Yes, they're repairable, but I thought that there were some, maybe it's just growing pains, first-gen issues, but like... Nothing? Okay.
Nope.
All right.
That's enough.
Next.
Hey,
Brett.
you know how much I like powering things?
Hmm.
And power and electricity and more power, and when the lights go off, still having electricity. So my pick is a UPS this week, and a reasonably priced one for 1500 VA, 900 watts. I know 164 with $10 promo card thrown in on top of it still sounds like a lot of money, but just for giggles, click that 1351, 810 watts there. So remember, the one I'm suggesting here is 164. One that has less go juice is 194.
Yeah, but that's from
So-
Mac Marvel's Marketplace with
Well,
only
whatever.
74% positive feedback.
But if you go back to the
The
one
battery
I'm
was too
suggesting-
heavy.
Yeah, it's too heavy. 164 is actually a pretty darn good price for a reasonable name brand, although I've had my issues with APC
pure
units.
sine wave?
Oh, for God's sakes.
Is it pure sine wave? No,
It's
it
it's
is not.
it's not. No.
Okay. Hey,
But there's
if
a lot
you're
of things
okay
that
with,
are tolerant.
with garbage, then this could be
Yeah,
good.
it's not garbage. There's a lot of stuff you can plug into this, which will be just fine. Just totally fine.
Okay.
So this is a very, very good price for a 1500 VA APC UPS.
Look at all
Blah,
those
blah, blah,
outlets
blah,
on the
blah, blah.
back.
I know. I'm not sure I'd plug my cable television into it though, but sure.
But look, it's got inputs and outputs
I know.
for cable surge suppression.
And your phone, and your fax machine.
Mhm. In
Still,
an office environment, this makes a lot of sense. How
Yeah,
much
it
is
does, yeah.
pure sine wave going to cost, though? Because this one,
see price in cart.
list price
Quite a lot more.
$555. I think a pure sine wave is usually about what, $250, $300 for this.
It's a lot more money.
No, for that one, it'd probably be about 5.
Would it really that much more?
At 1500.
Okay. Well, not everything is so sensitive that it needs it.
That is correct.
And if it is, then just slap one of those patches on it.
You could do that.
The sine wave patch.
Yeah.
I have
Bend the
no.
curve.
I have no pick this week.
Shocked.
Hey, sometimes I do. Last week I picked trees or something. I don't know. I don't remember. I have
How's
an
the repairs
anti-pick,
going?
which is
Yeah.
my car insurance company, which still hasn't come through. And this
Flo
gonna
is a
happen by
liar.
September
Yeah.
7. It's the 22nd. Come on. Okay, enough of that. This has been the PC Per Podcast, episode 645. We'll be back next week. Maybe there'll be some new exciting announcements. I know Nintendo Direct is happening tomorrow. Maybe we'll be talking about the new Switch Pro. They released it after all, with that DLSS and 4K and all that stuff. Probably not, but we'll see. Thanks for watching and or listening, or both. Please do both every week, repeatedly,
Multiple times. That'd be great.
from different
And
IP
happy
addresses.
Equinox.
Oh,
Yeah.
when
Well,
do
off by
we
a day,
fall
but-
back, by the way?
No, it's Equinox, 22nd. It's it. You know, it shifts from year to year
Right,
depending on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm looking this up.
but yeah, it's officially
back.
Equinox.
I thought it was the 21st, but what do I know?
November
Well, the
this
days are
year.
getting shorter.
7. have to wait till November. All I know is it's 7
I'll be
a.m.
gone till November.
7,
January, February, March, April, May.
7 a.m. It's pitch black outside. And I'm tired. And I want to go back to bed. But
What else
No.
is new?
we got to wait till 2 a.m. on November 7th to fall back. Okay. Can we just abolish daylight savings time, please?
Please.
Yes, we need to.
Who is it saving? Daylight?
No one anymore, probably.
No.
Not a damn thing.
I used to go into work at 8 a.m. and it was dark. And I'd get out at 6 and it was dark. So it was just... I didn't know
It's
what...
just dark.
Yeah. It was dark all the time. I lived in the night and I didn't know what day it was. It was a different time. Okay. I think we're in after show right now. I'm going to stop the recording. There's some kind of awkward ending in there somewhere, but
Bam.
I'll just cut it off.
Yes. I like your hard cut at the end. Sudden and violent.
Yeah, sometimes I do that when it doesn't... when it feels right.
Yep. Usually when Josh
At
is in the
least we
middle
don't
of talking
live
about
up
something.
in Norway where it like the sun goes down at 3 and it comes up at 9. And then it gets worse from there, the farther north you go. Yeah, I wouldn't do very well down that up there.
Would you get sad?
I sure would. I'd have to get some bright
And you
light
go-
therapy going.
And then you go manic when there's 18 hours of bright sunlight. Or 20.
Yeah. But I like summer and I like light.
Someone's gotta.
I used to be different. I used to kind of like the darker, colder, snowy. And then I grew up and I got rid of childish things, except playing games.
Oh, look at this mirror. I'm just
What?
looking at Discord. He said, "Hey, you want
Oh,
pure
your
sine
cyber
wave?
power?
Cyber power, 1500 VA, 900 watt, true sine wave,
Ooh.
179.
Oh, 179 is
Costco.
really, really
That's
nice
not bad.
price. Costco. though.
Costco.
Well,
Yeah,
Let me
you gotta
check-
buy 5 of them
check,
at once. Sorry.
and you have to have a Costco membership, I would
I could
assume.
get it Monday, September 27. Delivered straight to Kalamazoo. Amazing.
Good price.
Unbelievable.
No, delivery not available in
Anyway.
Alaska, Hawaii, Puerto Rico, or Michigan.
It's just batteries.
No, it's just Alaska, Hawaii, Puerto Rico. Yep, because of batteries, exactly. See, it's that battery thing. Pretty soon we'll be buying UPSs with no batteries in them.
They're
Batteries
still
not
gonna ship the
included.
battery.
You know, I need to investigate what's going on with it, but I have a cyber power UPS on the floor behind me. And when I had the catastrophic electrical event, I couldn't find anything in the house that got fried. Because there was arcing and sparks going everywhere, and I'm like, oh no, I just lost a bunch of stuff. Apparently just that.
It
was fried.
sacrificed itself.
Yeah. And I've already had that thing replaced under warranty once, way back in the day. And it's well past its warranty now. So I think it's just time to get a new one. Because nothing's happening with a bunch of the outlets on one side of that thing.
Yeah, sounds like it got burned.
I can't believe more stuff didn't get burned. Because the two hot
Yeah, lucky.
lines coming into the house, they touched each other because they were not well enough insulated. So when the mask got ripped off, they were right up against each other and sparks were showering up into the air. But somehow, when it finished falling and then got caught between the car and the limb of the tree,
Right.
the power was still on. Our power was on all night. I
Weird.
called
Really?
immediately to report a down power line. I called 911 because I couldn't get through to just regular dispatch. Apparently, they just want everybody to call 911 now. And then called Consumers Power and went through this whole ridiculous automated system to tell them that my power was alive and laying across the top of a car in the driveway. And the only thing that happened was the fire department came out and put yellow tape around the house and half of the neighbor's house. And then we just sat there with live lines until 4 o'clock in the
Crackling
morning.
and sparking and
Yeah, and then the power truck showed up and started shining spotlights and woke my wife and I up. And then we're up, and then this guy bangs on the front door. So yeah, we had to cut power at the street, and we can't restore power until you have that mast repaired. So you either get that up or get an electrician out here, and then we can restore power. And of course, I'm like, well,
Oh yeah, I'll just get out there in my PJs and raise that mast
well,
again.
it's First of all, they cut it at the street. The mast was still being held down by all the power lines, which were pinned against the roof of the car under a tree limb. I was like, all right, how's this going to happen? I don't know. What a nightmare. It's over
it is
now.
a nightmare. I'm
It's
sorry
over.
I had to go through that. It's awful.
Yeah, really.
My wife just bought a new car because they told
Oh, that was her
they-
car. I thought it was yours.
Well, it was. She calls it my car, and she gave it to me, but she actually bought it, and then she took my car because I have a Volvo XC90 SUV, and she wanted the SUV, so she bought this Mazda 3 and traded the Volvo for the Mazda. I don't care what I drive, so I was like, whatever. The car seat fits in the back of Mazda 3. I'll drive that car. I don't care. I was driving a Subaru Legacy for a while. I mean, I clearly don't care about cars. So that she had to replace that car because the insurance company totaled it because there was $14,500 in damage on it.
Yikes.
Even though it's worth more.
So
Blue book
what'd
on
you
that
get?
car is still $19,000. Okay, she likes Mazda. She likes the dealership. We have a female, like woman-owned car dealership downtown here, and her salesperson is a woman. So she likes this place. She wants to support them. No problem. She's got the job, that pays the bills. So she goes down there to get herself a new car. They had 7 cars in inventory when she first talked to them on Wednesday of that week. On Thursday, they had 5.
They had 2? Oh.
Yep. Yeah, and on Friday when she went to get the car, they had 2. So the only thing they had in stock, and no cars coming in.
The
She's
new
like,
car lots around here are just bare.
she's,
I mean, they spread out the cars to make it look better, but it's just like it's the end times, man. We're living in the end times.
we asked,
you,
like, is there
chip
anything coming
shortage.
in? It's like, no, I haven't heard. We've asked about the 2022s. We haven't got any word back. There's no estimate. So, they had 2 CX-30s, which is apparently based on the same platform as the Mazda 3. They even had the same engine and transmission. It's just slightly taller because it's a crossover, because that's what people want to buy now. So she got a CX-30. So I basically have the same car again. It's just a little bit taller. And there's
Nice.
like 1 inch more legroom. I think because of the height difference. The seats are higher. But yeah, overpriced. Got all sorts of safety features that we didn't have before. Like, it reads road signs like that Corolla rental that I had. Which is disconcerting. It has a heads-up display, so it's projecting the speed that I'm traveling,
On your windshield.
the speed limit. Yeah, all that stuff's on the windshield, and it's really bright. So I went in to turn it off. The next time I started up the car, it was back. Apparently, you can't permanently
Can you at
turn
least
it off.
dim it?
You can dim it.
No. I'll tell you what, I need to throw some more patches on and stop sitting on my butt. So I gotta go.
Somebody in the YouTube's like, so it's kind of like your mom gave you a car. Look, I used to be
Mom with privileges.
I used to be. Oh no, mom with benefits. Well, she is a mom. She has
That's a
a
different
6-year-old
channel.
son.
Oh, that's bad.
When she was in college, who took care of her? Who paid the bills? Who bought her cell phone and paid the cell phone
Sugar
bill? Who
daddy.
gave her a place to live? Who paid for her car? Me. And when she was an unpaid intern for a year, who paid for everything? Me. So when my son came along and she was okay with me quitting my job to become a stay-at-home dad and do PC Per on the side, I took full advantage of the situation. I wanted a sugar mama, and I finally had the opportunity to take advantage of somebody else. who'd been taking advantage of me for like 5 years. So I'm okay with it.
It's a circle of taking advantage of.
Well, I'm glad that worked out for you.
It's good. Yeah.
We our
Must be
anniversary is tomorrow,
nice.
so I'm sure this is, if she's watching,
How many years?
9.
10?
Not quite
9.
10. No, we've been together for 11
Congratulations.
years, but we've been married for 9.
Wow. Yeah. I'm up to 21 married and 24 together. Doesn't make any sense. Coming November 15th.
Well, you've
Time
been married
flies.
for longer than you've been together. I wasn't listening.
No.
Married for
Yeah, obviously you were
19,
not.
together for 18.
I was married. I've been married for 21, together for 24.
Oh, okay. That's kind of the new norm, you know? People
What,
live together
really?
before they get married now. It would shock and appall 1940s and 50s America, but it's just the case.
It would.
Yeah. I'm like the only person I know that's never gotten a divorce.
Okay, we had
Well,
to go
except-
there.
I mean, I haven't.
Anyway.
I'm the only
never got
person I
married
know who's
either,
ever been
so.
divorced as many times as I have.
Oh,
Well.
good.
You got that going for you.
Yeah.
Anyhow. Well, guys.
Before we
yet
go,
again.
wait.
OWC.
No.
MacSales.com.
This-
Mac
it's
Mall. Is
not-
Mac Mall still around?
Yeah, I believe so.
You haven't
It's
brought up
not
Micro
phony
Center
dog-
enough yet.
It's not
Yeah.
phony dog poo. We have a brand new patron, Dennis. Thank you, Dennis.
The Menace?
Yay, Dennis.
Yes. Yay, Dennis. Your name here.
Okay, I just went to MacMall.com and it's just loading and there's nothing happening.
I thought I still got email from them.
Interesting.
Well, wait a minute. It's apparently the Mac Mall. Oh
Okay.
no, it's Tiger Direct
It's
now.
not just a Mac Mall.
It's Tiger
the
Direct.
Mac
Wait,
Mall.
Tiger Direct still exists?
Kind of. But if
You're
you
just talking about like the layout.
if you go to if you Tiger
Yeah,
Direct,
the link.
like that's the first thing that comes up, and if you look at it, this looks like Tiger Direct.
That was what I thought you meant.
Mac Mall.
This is a pretty old-looking site here. I wonder if this is actually legitimate.
They're using a lot of negative space.
Blowout deals.
Yeah.
It's oh look, it goes to Tiger Direct Business. when you click on
Ooh, Tiger
anything.
Direct.
But they're an authorized reseller. Okay, enough. Time to go to bed.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Fairly
Yes,
well.
Good night.
Have a good one.